All right, welcome back to Move with Joe. In today's video, we're going to be doing a movement lesson that is geared towards reducing tension and discomfort in the neck, upper spine, and shoulders. And so if you are struggling with any type of accumulated tension, or maybe there's just some discomfort in the way you're organizing to make movements in this area, this lesson is going to be geared towards you. And we're going to work with those limitations by one, focusing in on awareness, two, distributing tone through more of your body, and three, creating restraints that require your nervous system to find new ways of organizing. So using these different strategies, we are going to hopefully get you in a place where you're more organized, you have more skeletal support so that you can reduce tension and discomfort throughout your day. So let's get started. All right, so to begin this lesson, please come to lie on your back. And just take a moment to see if there's any little adjustment that you want to make with your neck or your head, shoulder blades, just to make yourself a little bit more comfortable. And you can start just by rolling your head a little to the right, a little to the left. And moving really slowly, notice where it is that you feel the first bit of restriction. So for me, first bit of restriction where I would actually have to start moving, creating more force to make the movement would be about maybe 15 or 20 degrees, and then to the left. Left I can go quite a bit farther. All right. So to begin, bring your arms overhead to create a hoop. So your hands are touching overhead. Thumbs can be down to the floor. And slowly begin to take your head so that your nose stays parallel with the ceiling. Begin to slide that head a little to the right and a little to the left. So you just begin to slide the head across the floor, nice and easy. And depending on the surface that you're on, you may have a little bit of friction that you need to overcome. That's good. And then pause there. Let the head relax for a moment. And then begin to take the arms a little to the right and a little to the left. So the right elbow comes closer to your ear, and then the left elbow comes closer to the left side. You start to go back and forth. Great. Pause in the middle, let your arms come back down by your side. Give yourself a rest for a moment. Inhale, and notice as you inhale, what ribs make contact with the floor? Where does your breath go? How does your rib cage begin to expand? And on the exhale, what ribs begin to float away from the floor? And just notice if there's any additional tension that you're holding in the shoulders, if there's a way that you could just kind of let that go, let the floor come to support the arms a bit more. And then once again, bring the arms up overhead. You can interlace them if you want. And this time, as you begin to slide the right elbow towards your right side of your head, you'll begin to turn your nose towards your elbow. And then as the left elbow comes closer, you'll turn your nose to the left elbow. The head begins to turn to meet the elbow coming towards it. And you can have your attention on the nose. Nose turning to meet the elbow coming towards it. Good. Pause there. If you'd like to bring your arms down for a moment, you can. Again, just tune into your breath. If you'd like, you could roll your head again a little to the right, a little to the left. Notice if there's any changes in the ease of rolling the head. And for me, I'm already noticing that it's easier to roll the head to the right. That's good. And then this time, again, bring your hands overhead to create that loop. So this time we'll bring our intention into a different part of the movement. And specifically, we're going to bring our intention into the back of the head. So we're going to take the back of the head towards the elbow that is moving away from us. Again, we're taking the back of the head towards the elbow that's moving away from us. And you may notice this is actually essentially the same sequence, but just with a different intention on where we're focusing our movement. And just by creating a difference in where we're focused on creating the movement, it actually changes how we organize to make the movement. All right, good. Let that rest for a moment. You can bring your arms down by your side if you'd like. Give them a little rest. The rest is for integrating the movement and also just giving your nervous system a break. If we get too rote with the movement, then it just becomes kind of more gymnastic or fitness focused, and what we're after is getting better organization, creating a more smooth and elegant movement. So slightly different intention. All right, bring the hands again overhead. And this time, begin to take the nose towards the elbow that's moving away. Good. Let that relax. And slowly come to roll onto your stomach. And here on your stomach, just notice, take a moment to notice which side is more comfortable for your head to rest. For most people, they have a side that is definitely more comfortable, more friendly to the body. May have something to do with how our shoulders are organized or the curvature of our spine. And then again, begin to create a loop overhead. And we'll have you begin to, let's start with the head turned to the right, if that's comfortable for you. You could always prop up your chest with a little blanket if it's uncomfortable, or you could always start on the other side. And slowly begin to take your nose towards your right elbow. So you begin to slide back and forth. And you can notice what's happening with your spine as you make this movement. So you're sliding your head back and forth. Just moving within a comfortable range. And notice how do you change the distribution of weight in your sternum, in your upper ribs. And as you make this movement, sliding your head out to the right, notice which foot wants to get longer as you make this movement. So you begin to notice that this movement actually, if you start distributing the tone, the effort, you can start using your whole body to make the movement. Great. Let that rest. You can bring your arms down to your side a little bit if that's more comfortable. And you can focus in on your breath for a moment. Notice how your breath makes contact with the floor now. Which side of your rib cage do you breathe more deeply into? And then bring your hands back up overhead. Create that loop again. And this time again, begin to slide the loop back and forth. Excellent. Give that a rest. And with several attempts, slowly begin to turn your head a little to the left, bring it back to the right, turn to the left again, bring it back to the right, and slowly begin to work your head across to the left side. And bring it down once it gets to a comfortable place. And here begin to slide the left nose towards the left elbow. Again, focusing on how you begin to distribute the weight across your chest. What presses down as you begin to unweight the head to slide across? Where is it that you find the support through your rib cage? Which way does your pelvis begin to roll? Does the right hip move in towards the floor, press in towards the floor, or does the left? Maybe you don't notice any movement at all down there. And again, which leg begins to get longer? Excellent. Let that rest. And begin to slide the hands in the loop again, back and forth. That's good. Pause there. And bring your hands so that your forehead is resting on top of the left hand. And again, you can just rock the head back and forth a little bit. And then slowly begin to bring your head out to the left. You're going to keep your nose pointing down towards the floor. You're going to start to imagine that you begin to sniff out your left arm. So you begin to slide your nose out towards the left elbow and come back. If you want to sniff, you can. Hopefully you showered today. And so again, notice how this changes the movement through the spine. How do you begin to find support through the rib cage? You can even begin to notice if there's any way that you're using your pelvis to make the movement. Does one side slide up as the other slides down? Good. Give that a rest. You can rest however you'd like. If you'd like to place your head resting on the forehead, you can, or down to one side. And then slowly begin to make the movement again out to the left. But this time, as you slide out, you're going to begin to slide out to the elbow and then up the arm to the armpit, sliding back down, coming across, sliding back up. So you just begin to create this little semicircle towards the armpit, back down. And so notice what's happening with your spine now, and particularly as you go up into the upper arm. What has to happen? How do you begin to organize through your spine? What changes versus when you're just sliding out? So there's definitely a significant change in terms of how you're organizing through your spine, the amount of effort. How do your elbows and forearms support you through the movement? Good. Let that rest. Go ahead and let your head turn to one side. Notice the ease of the comfort of resting your head to this side. Take a moment to breathe in a couple deep breaths. Again, we're just letting the nervous system absorb the movement, letting it integrate into the neuromuscular patterns. And then slowly begin to turn your head a little bit towards the right. Notice how your head rests on this side now. You may notice that it's easier on both sides. Typically that's the case for people as we move through this lesson. So you can go back and forth a couple times. And you can notice what's the difference in terms of where you're resting on your face on the left side and the right side. Are you resting in a slightly different spot? Is more of your ear touching on one side? What's the difference in how the weight is distributed through your sternum, through your rib cage? All right. And then this time, again, bring your palms on top of each other, forehead on top of the hands, and then slowly begin to start sniffing out your right forearm. And again, start off small, easy movements with a range that's comfortable. And then slowly begin to come up the upper arm, back down. And again, as you come higher up into the arm, notice how you begin to organize through your spine. What changes?
And then you can even begin to bring your head across, so you begin to flex as if you're bringing your nose towards your chest and sternum, and then come down the other side, coming down the left. And so we make this whole circle all the way around the forearm, the upper arm, across the chest, down the other side. So 1 or 2 more times. You can reverse the movement going back the other way. As you make this movement, notice what's happening with your scapula. Particularly as you begin to slide across, up the upper arm, across the chest, how your scapulas move across your back. Scapulas are the big bony plates on the back of the shoulders, the shoulder blade. All right, excellent. So go ahead and come to rest one more time. Take a moment to just notice the contact with the floor now. For many of you, the contact will be lighter, easier, softer, however you would like to describe it. Go ahead and turn your head a few times. Notice the ease of turning to the left and the right now. You can notice where it is that you rest your head on the right side and the left side. Maybe this has changed. All right, and then slowly turn over onto your back. All right. Again, take a moment on your back. Just get comfortable. Take a deep breath. Notice how the contact with the floor has changed. For many of you, you'll notice that there's a more equal distribution of weight between the right and the left side. Maybe you notice more of the rib cage in contact, or more of the scapula is in contact with the floor. Maybe there's a change in the quality of your breath. Go ahead and roll your head to the left and the right. And again, just notice where you get to comfortably going to the right. And where do you go to the left now? And again, for many of you, you'll find that there's a significant improvement in the quality and the range of movement. And then take a moment to come up to standing, and you can walk around. All right, so now up and standing, just take a moment to notice how it is that you're organizing up and standing now. So take a deep breath, notice where the weight is in your feet. Notice that you may have a different sense of where your gaze is going onto the horizon. Maybe you have a better awareness of the peripheral vision out to your side. And take a moment to just rotate, to look over your shoulder one way and the other. And you can slowly let that rotation go more and more through the whole of yourself, and just notice the ease of movement. So for many of you, you'll be experiencing an increased range of motion in your shoulders. You will maybe potentially notice a greater support through the rib cage. A lot of the movements that we were doing in this lesson were lateral side bend movements, as well as extension and some flexion. And so oftentimes at the end, you'll have a greater sense of some more length
that your rib cage is supporting your shoulders and your head and neck more, and so that's why people often experience a sense of higher gaze, a more central axis of rotation. And so this is what we're after. And so hopefully you've experienced some of these. Please tell me in the comments box below what improved for you in this lesson, and hit the like and subscribe button so that way you stay tuned, up to date with new releases of future movement videos. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks.